Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambeau channel. A former Ripple employee named Robert Mitchnick, along with Susan Athey, who is a current Ripple board member, created a price model for XRP, and that price model came to the conclusion that XRP may rise to as high as $32 over a specific time period. And this model was created in June of 2018, so it's been out for a while, and I've talked about it a handful of times as the years have passed. But it's being discussed broadly within the XRP community on social media, in particular over this weekend. And why? Well, check this out. By now, most of you have probably heard that BlackRock, which is the world's largest investment firm on the entire damn planet, with somewhere in the neighborhood of $8.5 trillion worth of assets under management, they're jumping in headfirst into crypto intensely. They partnered up with Coinbase. This news came out just a few days ago, and I've talked about it. And they're going to be offering all of their institutional customers access to crypto. And this is massive. This is absolutely massive. Whatever you think of BlackRock, you can talk about how they're a shady firm, this or that, and maybe you're right, maybe you're not. That's not the point of this conversation anyway. I do find that to be an interesting topic, but for another time. Regardless of what you think of them, this is going to provide incredible access. And it's interesting because you've got Robert Mitchnick, again, former Ripple employee, one of the two that came up with this model that says XRP may go up to $32 over a specific time period. And not that it couldn't necessarily go higher beyond that. They're just talking over a specific time period. Well, this guy, he ended up getting hired by BlackRock. He works at BlackRock. That's right. Somebody who said XRP could go up to $32 is now working at BlackRock. And he's not just working there. He's in charge of their digital assets division currently. Interesting stuff. So there was a thread written by a member of the XRP community who I think puts out some insightful stuff. So I wanted to share with you some of what he had to say, along with some other stuff. But before going further, I do want to be clear, I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. And so the individual in question here is XRP community member Wrath of Kahneman, who shared a number of thoughts on this exact topic on Twitter just a couple hours ago. And here's what he wrote. He said, there is a lot of buzz about the XRP valuation model this weekend. Why? Well, short version, BlackRock is investing in Coinbase, and the head of BlackRock's digital asset division has been Robert Mitchnick, one of two authors of an XRP model from 2017, so lots of buzz. And I'll note that it's actually from 2018. Here's what he was referencing. Just a minor mistake, no big deal. But this is what they titled A Fundamental Valuation Framework for Crypto Assets by Robert Mitchnick and Susan Athey. And it's from June of 2018, as you can see on the screen. And they also do valuation for Bitcoin, but we're focused on XRP for the purposes of this video. And then he wrote some additional thoughts on this. He said, number one, BlackRock announced a partnership with Coinbase for institutional advisors to gain Bitcoin exposure. This is big money. 2. In 2019, BlackRock hired former Ripple executive Robbie Mitchnick to lead its digital assets division. And then number 3 is missing here, and I don't know why. Twitter did something, and Wrath of Kahneman later recognized that. And so in a separate tweet, he wrote, for some reason, tweet number 3 isn't showing up for many. I don't know why. It just said, in 2018, Mitchnick and Susan Athey, a Stanford professor currently on Ripple's board, published a paper trying to put a value on Bitcoin and XRP, and then it linked to the paper. So I don't know if there's something about the fact that he linked to the paper and then it just refused to display, but this is it. I'm not going to go through this whole thing. I've covered this before. That's Susan Athey. That's a picture of her, and that's Robbie Mitchnick from several years ago, but that's what he's talking about. Number 4, someone put the model up as a calculator on the web. It's very cool, but how would I know what figures to enter? Are there reference values for global economics somewhere? And so here's the calculator, and I just got to pause to note, at some point, I think it was earlier this year, I put together a video where I just tore this calculator to shreds. It's not even properly based on the valuation model. I don't remember all of the reasons that it's complete garbage. I didn't commit them all to memory, but I reported on them. And even if I remember them all, I don't want to, that's not the purpose of this video. This is the calculator he's referencing. You can fill out different fields and then calculate, in theory, what XRP would be worth. This is a garbage calculator. It doesn't work. I'd say just throw it away. It really is that bad. And then there was, where am I going? Here we go. Yeah, back to it. Number 5. This again, back to Wrath Economy, says, the 2018 valuation paper said if XRP were successful, XRP should be valued at $6.37 to $32.91. And now, one of the authors works at BlackRock, who is investing in Coinbase. The other is on Ripple's board. So that's interesting. That's where it came from. Now, of course, the timeline, you'll see it. I think he mentioned it a little bit later in the thread. That was like a 12-year time span. This is written in 2018, so you're looking at by 2030. So let me just say this. As far as the valuation model goes, there's so many moving parts to all this. There's no way this thing could actually, because it makes a lot of assumptions. That's why models in an infant asset class 12 years out, I'm just like, in a way I can appreciate that they're even trying to do something, but there's so many moving parts to this. It's like, is it really worth the time? I mean, because think about it. You don't know the degree or at what rate people are going to continue piling into crypto and what developments are going to occur, because this was based on adoption of XRP, but largely anyway. But what if you just have a bunch more people jump in purely to speculate at a rate that you couldn't account for, and then the whole asset class is moving in tandem? So look, the idea of XRP getting up to $32.91 does not sound wacky to me at some point in the future. I don't know for sure if it's going to happen, but that seems like if XRP has long-term viability, that doesn't sound wacky to me at all. It really doesn't. It could go way, way, way higher. Like there's no reason. So I don't know if it will, and that's why I don't make price predictions. But I don't think that's like unreasonable. In fact, I don't see why it couldn't go well over $100. Like, I mean, if it's long-term adopted, and that's a question mark now. Right now, if you look at everything the way it's being adopted, I'm very optimistic, but we don't know for sure. So I was just trying to take a reasonable approach rather than just the fun, hypey one. Because there's enough reason to be excited without getting into like the hype reason. There's so many good reasons to be very optimistic about the future of XRP specifically in the broader crypto asset class. But anyway, Wrath Economy then continues to wrote number 6. So is it a reasonable valuation? I wouldn't know a proper valuation model if it hit me in the face. They use letters in their math. Excuse me. They use letters in their math even. Preposterous. I thought that was funny. I'll leave it to the business majors. There are a couple of things we dyscalculiates can say, though. I don't know if I pronounced it right. I had not heard that word, but before recording the video, I looked it up because I'd never seen that damn word before. It basically just means math dyslexia. So he's saying there are a couple of things that we with math dyslexia can say, though. That's what it means. So now we all know. So I don't know how to pronounce it. Dyscalculiates? I don't know, maybe. It doesn't freaking matter. You know what it means now, and so do I. Number 7, he says, first, note they are talking about steady state demand, imagining it in a constant full use, a best case scenario. And second, their paper cannot account for sidechains or NFTs as it predates them. It's debatable whether central bank digital currencies should figure in as cross-border transactions are accounted for. So let's pause and note, and this is kind of what I was getting at a minute ago. There's so many moving parts, you can't sufficiently account for. There's so many things that you didn't even know could potentially be use cases for XRP, and now they're out there. Like, what about, and on top of that, one of my favorite ones recently, the Colombian government using XRP and the XRP ledger for their national land registry database. They're actually tokenizing land on the XRP ledger. It's amazing. You didn't count for that either, right? Of course they didn't. There's no way they could have known that was coming. So all these other use cases and other developers building on top of the ledger, that just adds to it. So there's no reason that it couldn't at some point be worth way more than that. And as more speculators jump in, because it's just speculation that drives the price anyway. And then he says, number 8, finally, it is most interesting that they forecast this success range as occurring 12 years after the paper is released, so 2030. So according to a Ripple board member and a BlackRock executive, the best expectation for XRP value is $6 to $30 by 2030. Do with that what you will. Yeah, so I'll just pause and note, with speculation being what it is, because look, the whole asset class is just moving in tandem. I don't see why you can't hit those levels, setting utility aside. I mean, and look, I don't know when the system's going to get flushed out and most of the 20,000 cryptos in existence go to zero. I think that's going to happen at some point because it doesn't make sense to have all of them, propped up in perpetuity when they're not doing a damn thing. But even in the short term, why couldn't XRP go way beyond that $6 mark? Why couldn't it be over 10 or maybe 15? Like, why couldn't it just on pure speculation alone? I don't know if it'll happen, but I certainly think that's plausible. That definitely could happen. In my opinion, it might happen, right? And then he says, so now you know what I know. Might not be much, but it was free. Hard to keep track of everything. Also, a little request, and he just says to, instead of direct messaging him, to just do an @ on Twitter. So interesting food for thought, is it not? You guys will have to let me know what you think, but in terms of the valuation, like, I just, again, kind of appreciate the efforts. These are really brilliant people, Robert Mitchnick and Susan Athey, absolutely brilliant people. But it kind of, and I don't mean this in an insulting way, but it's like a fool's errand to try and figure this stuff out in 2018 or even in 2022. Like, you don't know 12 years out what this is gonna, you know what I mean? So yeah, I swear, like, not to, like, I appreciate what they're doing, and I like them both, but from what I've seen anyway. But it just seems like a fool's errand. You're not going to be able to figure this stuff out. So you guys will have to let me know what you think, but I think XRP could be worth an absolute fortune. And it's just interesting to see that people of this caliber are still talking about the fact that they even said XRP could reach those levels at some point in the future. To me, even that is telling, though. They do believe that. They didn't just put out crap they don't believe. They do believe it. Doesn't mean it's going to happen. It doesn't mean that they believe for sure it's going to happen, but they're saying, hey, this is in the realm of possibility. And on that point, I agree. That to me, that doesn't sound wacky in the least. But you'll have to let me know what you think in the comment section below. I am not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.